Hello students, we were discussing chapter 8, right? Chapter 8, and we have discussed the previous slides. So now let us discuss this 8.19. What are they asking? Effect of an output tax on industry output. See, so suppose the government put an output tax for every unit of output, then the producers must pay a tax. So you know that under perfect competition, demand D is downward sloping, right? Indicating an inverse relationship between price and what? Quantity output or output, right? And supply curve, look, this is S prime is the upward sloping. That solid S1, not S prime, sorry, solid S1 is the without tax, right? And then what happens, and then an output tax placed on all farms in a competitive market shifts the supply curve for the industry upward by the amount of the tax. See, so this is the supply curve for the entire industry. Remember, in the perfect competition there can be many farms, so there can be 100,000 thousand what identical farms, right? Small farms, each farm is supplying a tiny part of the industry, of the whole market, the industry, right? So in this situation, this is the tax, this is the equilibrium P1 and Q1 before the government imposed tax, right? But then the government, when the government imposed tax, it is like we have S1 and then add that T for all level, for every level of output. Now what happens? Cost is increasing because government is now taking part of that, imposing a tax. The producers have to pay to the government that T for every unit produced. So it is like as if the entire supply curve will shift up, right? This shift raises, so the supply curve for the industry will shift upward by the amount of the tax, right? So this difference, as you can see, is equal to that T that is added. And now because of this shifts the market price of the product and lowers the total output of the industry. As a result of this, now after tax, this is the new equilibrium, right? And look, price has increased. This is P2 is price including tax, right? And then output is what is it decreases to Q2. So lowers the total output from Q1 to Q2, and what, and price raises the price from P1 to P2, as we have indicated. Now the next slide, we want to talk about long run elasticity of supply. The long run elasticity of industry supply, right? Industry, this is all the firms taken together, the market, right, is defined in the same way as the short run elasticity. It is the percentage change of output. This is delta, this is change in Q, right? So not a box Q, this is change in Q, increment of Q divided by Q, and this is increment of P divided by P. See, so this one is showing us percentage change in output, this one, and this is showing us percentage change in price. So we know that elasticity of supply will be what? Percentage change elasticity of supply we have already defined, chapter 3, chapter 4, is this percentage change in quantity divided by percentage change in price. Now in a constant cost industry, the long run supply curve is horizontal, as we have seen, right? Because here when the farms produce more, cost of production does not increase. So supply curve is horizontal, and the long run elasticity is then infinitely large. In this case, like this one, constant cost industry, the long run supply curve is SL, will look like this. This is price, right? This is quantity. This is the industry supply curve is horizontal. Elasticity is very large. Now why? Because look at that, even a small change in price will change that supply by a very big amount. See, a small increase in price will induce an extremely large increase in output. And increasing cost industry, on the other hand, long run supply elasticity will be positive but finite, right? Increasing cost industry, the supply curve will be upward sloping like that, right? So as the producers, they want to produce more and more, right, cost of production will increase. So the price of those goods will also increase, right? Here constant cost, as they produce more and more, price does not increase, cost does not increase, hence price also does not increase, but not in the increasing cost, right? And so here it is what, how a long run supply elasticity, here supply elasticity is going to be what, supply elasticity, this is going to be positive, but it will not be infinite, very large. This one with the horizontal long run supply is what, infinite elasticity, right? So at that point, at that price, they can produce any amount they want to, right? Any amount they want to, but even if they want to change price a little bit, then what, supply drops to zero. So that is why supply gap does not exist at any other point except that price. Because industries can adjust and expand in the long run, we would generally expect long run elasticities of supply to be larger than the short run elasticity. See that? So we know that in the short run there are limitations. Even if demand is high, businesses, they cannot overcome those limitations, like fixed capital, right? Fixed machine tool equipment, plant size. So there are limitations, but in the long run those limitations they can overcome. If they don't have a large enough plant size, they can make one, or if they need a smaller plant size, they can make one, right? Long run is long enough for all of those changes. Now the magnitude of the elasticity will depend on the extent to which input cost increase as the market expands, right? So as the producers are producing more and more, how does the input cost, resource cost, right, cost of resources behave? In this constant cost industry, input costs will not change, so price remains the same for even for higher level of output, but not so in the in here in the increasing cost industry. Now, for example, an industry that depends on inputs that are widely available will have a more elastic long run supply than will an industry that uses inputs that are in short supply. See, when inputs are in short supply and the industry and the businesses, they are buying more and more, produce more and more, right? So they will drive then what, cost of these resources up. They are already in short supply, but that is not here possible here when there is widely available, right? Okay. So now let us discuss the two examples, the supply of taxi cabs in New York. Let us see, while reducing taxi fares will indeed cause a reduction in the quantity supplied, raising the price will not cause an increase in quantity supplied. Why not? Because the number of medallion is fixed. See, that is the thing. In New York, there are 13,150 medallions, right, since 1930s, and it did not change. 13,150 medallions. Let us see, if there were no restriction on the number of medallions, the supply curve would be highly elastic for taxi cab. This one given by that, given by all of this, right? But what is the thing? The thing is that cab drivers work hard and don't earn much, so a drop in the price of a 5 mile ride would lead many of them to find another job. Likewise, an increase in the price would bring many new drivers into the market, but that is not going to happen because number of medallions and therefore the number of taxi cabs is limited, right? To only 13,150. So the supply curve becomes vertical at this point. So beyond that, as long as we are below that one, when price of taxi cab ride increase, income of the taxi drivers increase, so you see, supply will increase. See that? we will follow that this section of the supply curve. But once we reach this threshold, the maximum limit, beyond that, the number of metallions will not increase, right? As a result, what happens? Even if price increases, number of metallion supply of taxis determined by the number of medallions remains the fixed, right? Remains fixed. So see, it is like a kink at that point, right? Now, the long run supply of housing, what is the example here? To begin, consider the supply of owner-occupied housing in suburban or rural areas where land is not scarce, right? So see, suburban and rural areas, they have an advantage. Land is not so scarce as it is in the cities, right? In this case, the price of land does not increase substantially as the quantity of housing supplied increases. So likewise, cost associated with construction are not likely to increase because there is national market for lumber and other materials. Therefore, the long run elasticity of the housing supply is likely to be very large, approximating that of a constant cost industry. See? So remember constant cost industry, the example we gave, it will look like more like this one, right? Going back to the previous slide. On the other, the market for rental housing is different. However, the construction of rental housing is often restricted by local zoning laws. So the amount of land where they can make this rental housing is limited. Many communities outlaw it entirely while others limit it to certain areas, right? So, because urban land on which the most rental housing is located is restricted and valuable, the long run elasticity of supply of rental housing is much lower than the elasticity of supply of owner occupied housing. See? So, with urban land becoming more valuable as housing density increases and with the cost of construction soaring, increased demand causes the input cost of rental housing to rise. In this increasing cost case, the elasticity of supply can be much less than 1. So see, so even if price increases, supply will not increase by that much. There are limitations on supply, limitations on land, higher cost of construction, zoning laws, right? All of those apply. So this is the main difference between housing in the suburban and rural areas where land is not scarce, and what housing and rental apartment in the urban areas, right? Okay, thank you.